Hi, this is Amy with the Hag Reads, and I am here today. And I am filming the Booktube Newbie 2.0 tag. I was not tagged in this. It's just I see it going around, and I thought it might be fun to do. It's a little bit different questions than are in the traditional newbie tag. The original video is by Michael SD. That's his username on Booktube. He's a fairly new user, but this tag is original to him. I will link that below. I think the person most recently that I've seen do it is a Cat at Cat's Bookend, and that kind of got me thinking maybe I should go ahead and just give it a shot, even though I haven't been tagged, because you know it's another way to put myself out there. So I'll dive into the questions. I think there are 10 questions. Let me look here real quick. Yeah, 10 questions. So, the first one is, what would you like to see talked about more on Booktube? And I would like to see more nonfiction talked about on Booktube. Most channels talk about fiction. Some specialize in a particular type of fiction. And on Booktube, there's a strong emphasis on YA or anti-YA. There's kind of a fork there. I enjoy YA, but I think that it is well covered. There are so many people doing it. I would love to see more people talking about nonfiction on topics that they're excited about or that they're well read in. I know Steve Donahue does a lot of nonfiction. He does a lot of historical stuff and a lot of biographies and specific eras. But there aren't very many people out there talking about nonfiction. And then the other thing I would like to see is kind of maybe a more even divide between young people and older people, because you kind of, or maybe it's not even a young old divide. I think what you often get is this divide, and it's often between younger and older people, but not exclusively. I've seen some older booktubers who do where they're so super excited and they're squealing and they're talking 90 miles a minute. And they're practically yelling at their viewers about the books they're excited about, and they're bouncing up and down with that you are never going to see that on this channel. Me bouncing in my chair a tiny little bit is about as far as I'm ever going to get with that. Or you get kind of a more sedate, slower talking older person. But when you get this type of, I love the conversational feel. I think Big Haired Bookworm does it very well. She keeps her channel. It's like you're having tea with her. It's very cozy. There's a very chatty kind of feel to it. I feel like when not exclusively, but often when you get an older, calmer booktuber who speaks well, they spend a lot of time complaining about the other type of person I just talked about. And specifically, a lot of times it's about people who promote YA books exclusively and who maybe are not YA, age appropriate. That kind of divide doesn't really serve any purpose. There's no wrong way to booktube. It's just I can't watch a lot of people who do that squealy bouncy thing because it's jarring to me and off-putting, and I can't pay attention to what you're saying. One, because you're saying it way too fast. Two, because you're yelling it at me. And three, because you're bouncing up and down so much. I'm glad you're excited, but I wonder a lot of times how much of that is genuine. How many of those people are really that excited? And I'm not slamming anybody. I just, when I see that, I always wonder how much of that is an affectation. So, I guess what I really want to see is more people who are reading their true passion, what it is they love. You know, I just talked about Kat's book, and what I love about her channel is that she genuinely loves and enjoys horror. And so that's mostly what she reads, and when she talks about it, you can see that she's passionate about it and that she really enjoys it. And so that kind of thing I do like to see. And even with Steve Donahue, you know, it's clear he's passionate about the things he loves, and he really does great recommendations, and all of his, you know, he's trying to do the starter kits for different types of reading, and I love his bookshelf tours. So I love it when you find somebody who feels like a real person, that they're authentic in their passions and they're talking about what they really love. I'd like to see more of that. The second question is, what do you think is the very best way to make friends on Booktube? I don't know, because I'm not very good at it. I'm pretty sure it involves Twitter. A lot of people seem to connect over on Twitter outside of Booktube, because in the comments you can carry on discussions, but once you get past, I think, a certain level of subscription, it's really hard to carry on that conversation for a long period of time in the comments section. It kind of gets unwieldy. So I think people take it to Twitter, or they might take it to live videos or other, you know, Snapchat and stuff like that, which I don't use Snapchat, and I don't do Voxer or anything like that, because I don't have a cell phone, and those are things that are specifically for cell phones. I do watch a lot of videos. I don't comment a lot unless the channel is smaller, typically, because like on a channel like Steve Donahue, there's not a lot I can say by the time I finally get to the video, because I'm generally, you know, I watch his, are among the first that I watch every time I come on, but by the time I do, typically whatever I might have had to comment on, somebody else has already made the comment. So what am I going to say? What he said, that's, yeah. And there are some YouTube channels where you just feel like they only talk to certain people. So what's the point of going in and, you know, trying to break into that? When I genuinely have something to say, I will comment. But I'm not good at that sort of thing. So, but it's connecting with people. It's commenting on videos. It's connecting with them on Twitter. And I've seen lots of people do it. I'm not very good at it myself. The third question is, what do you enjoy most about making Booktube videos? Just having a place to express my opinion and my feelings about things. My son doesn't want to listen to me talk about the books I like to read, because my interests are much wider than his, and my perspective is different. He doesn't always enjoy listening to me ramble on about the things that I really enjoy, and not very many people may be watching my videos, but it gives me an outlet where I feel like I'm talking to maybe somebody else. And so just being able to express my opinion and not having to hold it inside or unload it on people who just don't care. Because this way, if nobody cares, they're just not going to watch the video. But I've still had a chance to express, you know, how I feel, whether it makes me angry or happy, or I was like, what do you like least, or what do you least look forward to about making Booktube videos? The actual filming. I feel really awkward doing this, looking at the camera like I'm talking to a person, even though I'm really just talking to myself. I just find it awkward, and then I have to look at myself, and I always see that my hair is like super puffy, and my eyes have circles, and nobody likes to. It feels like just sitting here talking to myself as if I were looking into a mirror, and it's uncomfortable. I know a lot of people say editing, but obviously I don't edit my videos, so. 5, what other videos, other than tags, TBRs, wrap-ups, reviews, and recommendations, would you like to see on Booktube? I feel like that encompasses most of what you see on Booktube. Mike himself said that he likes discussion videos, and I don't actually see very many of them, but I also enjoy them. But I feel like now I'm saying just what he said, and that wasn't the point of his question, was what other things. But I would like to see more discussion videos and responses to discussion videos, or videos that are discussion videos that are from other people's videos you watched where it made you think and then you have a thought and you want to discuss it with other people. Maybe more videos about topics that are kind of Booktube adjacent. Like read, create, homeschool, repeat. I think I've got that right. She does kind of a monthly wrap-up of things that she's interested in and that, are kind of her passions of the moment. Like whatever TV series she's watching, themes in reading, music she's listening to that, are either new things she's found or things she's rediscovered. I really kind of like that video. I don't want to know everything there is to know about everybody on Booktube, but it would be nice to kind of see more people kind of throwing that sort of video in every now and then. That gives us a glimpse into your life and what your other passions are besides reading. So that's really all I have for that question. Number 6, what themes do you want to see more or less of on Booktube? What themes on Booktube? My answer to this question that I kind of jotted down notes wasn't what I want to see on Booktube. It's just what themes I don't want to see in books. What I like to see more or less of. Kind of some of the things I've rallied or railed against are books where one, and this is typically YA, where one parent has died and the other parent becomes physically and or emotionally unavailable. Bonus points if they also become alcoholic. Double bonus points for becoming abusive and alcoholic. I really dislike that. And I know it does happen in real life, but I feel like it's a trope in so many books, and I want to see less of it. Way less of it. Less of women whose husbands, boyfriends, or lovers leave them, and they fall apart and they can't get their asses out of bed. Movies and books. Don't like it. A man is not everything, nor is a woman. Definitely don't want to see movies or books where men fall apart in this way when their wife leaves them. Get yourself together. You still have a life to live. Nobody's life should be so tied up in another person that they literally can't function if that person leaves them. I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about cheating or leaving you. Getting divorced. That is not the end of the world. And I guess bonus points if you have children and you're neglecting them while you're doing this laying in bed, feeling sorry for yourself thing. Less diversity for the sake of diversity, but more diversity in general. I feel like there's kind of this push for authors to be diverse, whether it serves the story or not. And I don't think I like this trend, but I think that there should be more diversity in literature. So it's kind of a dichotomy. There should definitely be more diversity in literature, because there's diversity in authors, and we're now seeing books from more countries than ever being published in English. So the opportunity for diversity is definitely out there. But I feel like what's happening is that there's a demand that you have diversity in your novel, whether it needs it or not, as opposed to there just being more diversity in general. And that's all I've got for that. Number 7, what are some of your Booktube goals? I don't know, because I'm just doing this because I want to talk to myself about the stuff I love, because that's what it feels like. I do get some interaction, but not as much as I'm just, for the length and the style of my videos, I'm never going to be super popular. I have more than 10 subscribers, so I should probably just count my blessings and be happy about that. I would be ecstatic if I ever reached 100 subscribers, so I guess that's kind of a goal. If I could ever get to 100 subscribers, because maybe if I had that many, that would mean that maybe 10 or 20 people were watching it instead of 1 to 5. I would like to be more comfortable with my vlogging in general, whether it's about books or pagan things or other interests in my life, because this has become more of a vlog. And I do, when I'm talking about pagan things or my knitting, I do label those videos so that nobody gets sucked into thinking, oh, I'm going to watch her video today for Booktube, and then I'm talking about knitting, and they're like, what the fuck? But I always kind of feel uncomfortable, and I feel particularly uncomfortable talking about my pagan stuff. Even though nobody has really said anything negative about it, I would just like to feel more comfortable in general. And then better equipment. I would like to have a little bit of lighting, because when I really like to be recording is in the evenings, and I don't have enough light in the house. We just don't have enough lamps in general. So I would like some kind of lighting and a tripod so that I could do. I want to do just hands videos for some of my mixed media stuff. And for some of my pagan and knitting stuff, where you can do the top down, and you kind of need a tripod for that. And I found a camera I think will record well enough for me, so I'm saving up for that. But I also want a tripod, and then eventually some decent lighting so I can film when I am more inclined to film, instead of having to force myself to do it in the middle of the day when there is light. And maybe when I don't necessarily feel like it. The 9th question is, what are some qualities or traits that you look for when it comes to watching other booktubers? Mostly what I'm looking for are people who are passionate about whatever is their thing in reading. Cat's Book and horror. Steve Donahue, nonfiction, so many genres. Gives great book recommendations. People that are just comfortable with their subject matter, comfortable with whatever it is they're passionate about in terms of reading. I don't just watch videos that are by people who like the same things I like. I have a number of subscriptions, probably more than 10, for people who read genres that I have very little interest in, but I love to watch their videos and how they talk about the books, and what, how they felt about them, and their summaries and their reviews, because I'm probably never going to read those books, but they're so passionate about it, so well spoken, that it's a joy to watch them. Let's see, what else in my notes here? I want to see people who are actually reading the books that they're holding up. I unsubscribed from a number of people a couple weeks ago who I realized were showing lots of books in hauls. And I'm not talking about somebody like Steve Donahue, who writes professionally for a living, and he's showing us everything he gets in the mail from publishers and stuff like that. I'm talking about people who buy books, show them to you, put them on a shelf, and then you never see them talk about those books again. Because I think that there is a real danger, a certain sort of expectation that if you're on Booktube, you're going to have hauls. And I think some people get really caught up in that, and they, you know, are acquiring a lot of books, but they don't have the time to read them. And I feel like for me, that would be counterproductive. I would love to buy more books, but I could never acquire on the level that some people are acquiring, because I could never read all those books, and then I would feel super guilty. And that's why I like using the library, because it really helps me whittle down what I really enjoy, what I want to buy, what I'd really like to recommend to other people. I'm all for you being excited about things, but I would like to see more videos. You know, I look for people who speak conversationally. Squeeing is fine, but if you are, it's that thing where I talked about, if you are jumping up and down and yelling at me about how excited you are about these books, and it's every book that you're talking about, it's just not for me. And then people who have actual opinions about the books they read, because I see a lot of people hold up the book when they haul it, hold up the book when they're reading it, or when they're doing a wrap-up, and then basically all they say is, I really loved this book, it's great, I'd recommend it to you. But they don't necessarily tell you why. You know, so I want actual opinions, not just saying you loved everything you read, because I feel like people who are really reading, you're going to have a fair mix of things that you really loved, some that were just okay, and a fair number of things that you really didn't like at all. That's just my opinion. Now, I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody else. That's just how I sometimes perceive things and what I do look for. And the final question is, what is a fun fact or hobby besides writing? Oh, besides reading. I don't know why I wrote writing. Besides reading, that people on Booktube might not know about you. I don't know, because I've been doing videos for a while. I've lived in 3 foreign countries, 3 national parks, approximately 17 of the 50 United States, and multiple cities within most of those states. I'm trying to think. I think Oklahoma is one of the few where I lived in one city. Ohio, I only lived in Columbus, but I did live there for 5 or 6 years. But most of the other states I lived in more than one place. I moved multiple times and lived in different areas of the state. So a lot of that is because my father was in the military, and we moved about every 3 years while I was growing up. And then I kind of had that bug, and I have continued more or less to move about that often until fairly recently. So, and that's it. I'm done with the tag. I don't have anybody else I can tag, because all of the people that I have seen, you know, I went to look and see if maybe I could, but I'm pretty sure that anybody that I might tag probably doesn't watch my channel. And the few people that I know for sure are watching my videos have already done it. So I'm not going to tag anybody, but if you happen to watch this and you've never seen this tag before, you haven't done it yet, I invite you to go ahead and do it, because they are different questions here, or they're applied differently than in the original Booktube Newbie Tag. So it's another way to get yourself out there and let people know kind of what you're all about. That is all I have for this video, and I will see you guys next time. Yay for Spooktober! I'm so excited! Woo! We are, what is today? What day? Oh my gosh. It is the 6th of October. I can't wait till next payday, because I can get some. I love in the fall the mini Reese's peanut butter cups in the refrigerator. It's one of my favorite things. So I will see you all in my next Spooktober video, my 31 Days of Horror, or in my next vlog. Happy whatever time of day it is for you. Thank you if you have watched all the way to the end. I will see you guys again soon.